trying to play. "Eddie Lean. Never heard of it. So, where—" Halting, Mike took in a breath. "Edaline," he said softly, his voice so low the captain could hardly hear him. "Edaline. That's it." The captain put the paper back into his pocket. "Ever hear of the place?" Mike's hands began to shake so much he couldn't lift his cup. He willed them to be still, while he tried to relax his face so his panic wouldn't show. He'd only told one man about Edaline, and that had been a long time ago. If that man was involved, there was danger. "I'm sure you found out that my sister lives there," Mike said quietly. The captain's face lost its smile. He'd meant to tease Mike, but he didn't like seeing such raw emotion in one of the men under his command. "So I was told, but this case has nothing to do with her. And before you ask, no one but me and the Attorney General know about her being there." Mike worked on controlling his heart rate. Many times before, he'd been in situations where he'd had to make people believe he was who he wasn't, so he'd learned to keep calm at all costs. But in those times, it had been his own life in danger. If there was something going on in tiny Edaline, Virginia, then the life of the only person who mattered to him, his sister Tess, was in jeopardy. "Mike," the captain said loudly, then lowered his voice. "Come back to Earth. No one knows about you or your hometown or your sister, and she's perfectly safe." He hesitated. "I take it you two are close?" Mike gave a one-shoulder shrug. Experience had taught him to reveal as little about himself as possible. "Okay, so don't tell me anything, but you do know the place, right?" "Never been there in my life." Mike forced a grin. He was back to being himself, and was glad to see the frown that ran across the captain's face. Mike liked to be the one in charge of a situation. "You want to tell me what this is about? I can't imagine that anything bad has happened in Little Edaline." Not since 1941, he thought, as about 100 images ran through his mind, and not one of them was good. While it was true that he'd never actually been to Edaline, the town and its inhabitants had ruled his childhood.